All right, let's get into the next part of the show, which is about expectations. So we're on the verge of the season right now, and we're about to start. So it's about time we think about expectations. I did a video this week about pessimistic, optimistic, how they do in business. They make a case. They say, what's the optimistic case for this new product? Or, what's the optimistic case for this market thing we're doing? And what's the pessimistic case? Okay. And then what's the realistic case? So I thought I would do the same thing. So I did a video about that. And and I started thinking about expectations. So as far as the defense goes, what's your expectations? Top 20, top 32? Are we going to have a top 32 defense? I would hope so. There's 32 teams in the league. So if we're not top 32, we got problems. How about top 20? How about top 10, top 15? Let me know in the chat, what is your expectation for this defensive unit? Assuming health. Let's just assume everybody's healthy. Of course, somebody will get injured. They always do. But let's just say, for argument's sake, they're all healthy, everybody healthy. What is your expectation for this defense? Let me know in the chat. This is the time when you guys participate. Let me know in the chat. Let me know. Meantime, let's check out some sounds. So StreamYard also has sounds. Let's see what these look like. Okay, so if we want some applause, we could hit that. What about this? I don't like that. That's a police siren. Police are coming. Popo coming. Jeremy says, I think we can move back to top 10 because we improved at defensive tackle and got JJ back. Top 10, top 15. Well, if we have a top 10 defense, man, and we just have an average offense, could we make the playoffs? No one will exploit our secondary, Sluggo says, but run game is yet to be determined. Yeah, that's where Harrison Phillips and Briggs come into play. Hopefully, Phillips is really good. Briggs, is backup quality. Joe Mike says Clowney and Smith both linked to Detroit. Yep. Yeah, maybe so, but why isn't Detroit signing them then? There have been rumors about Za'Darius going back to Detroit. Detroit needs pass rush in the worst way. They have a lot of injuries. So why haven't they signed him yet? What are they waiting for? The season is starting. Season starts on Thursday, people. I don't know if you noticed. What are all these teams waiting for? Why is Justin Simmons hasn't signed anywhere? What's he waiting for? Geez. What are all these people waiting for? All right, so that's the defense. Well, if that's the defense, what about the offense? This one now is going to be a little more difficult to know because, after all, we haven't seen Tanner Armstrong call a play in the NFL yet. We don't know if Justin Fields is going to be able to keep ascending the way he's been the first 4 years in his career. We don't know if he's going to keep ascending or go down or tail off. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's an unknown quantity at quarterback. We have a young offensive line with a lot of talent, but we don't know if they can put it all together and be really good yet. We hope so. So maybe this one is hard to say. Seth Castro, worried the defense is a bit undersized versus run-heavy offense. Well, that's where Phillips and Briggs come in. It's still not, we're kind of light on that one edge. On one edge, we have Brady and McGregor. That's not good. But, yeah, we got a lot more stout here with these trades that we made. So those were two good trades that Muji made. So I would say that's very encouraging about Muji, that now some of the first moves he made were 3 really good waiver claims and 2 really good trades. And these were the first moves he made with his entire full staff on board that he hired, over the summertime. So yeah, you can always be worried about the run defense because run defense is hard. And you can say, well, these guys are going to, they just got here, so they have to learn what Wilks wants them to do and all that. So maybe it takes a minute for it to click in. But we got ourselves better in terms of the roster with Phillips and Briggs. So those were two really good moves. Why we didn't address it in the draft? I don't know. Harlan Abraham, what are the players waiting for? Talk to their agents. Okay. Harlan, nah. I was thinking, Harlan, maybe we put a tariff on your comments, but nah, I'll let you slide. We all know that the agents are involved. But I mean, waiting at this point, Phil, like the waiting has to stop. Like, unless they just have no offers and they're just lying to the media. And then they're just waiting. But I mean, waiting around for injuries, then what? You're going to join the team in week 4 or 5? I wouldn't do it. Hopefully the Jets will compete this year with improved rookie coaching. Yeah, let's hope so. Jeremy says, I wonder what our dime package will look like. That'll be Oliver. Oliver's a dime. Oliver is really quite a good piece on the back end of a defense to have as a backup. He's your dime guy. He's your backup nickel. He's your backup left cornerback, right cornerback. He's your backup free safety. I mean, the guy can back up everywhere. It's really valuable. But I think it's Oliver. Could be wrong, but I think it's Oliver. I think they're going to trust Oliver. A.Z. Thomas didn't have enough time in camp, and he's a young rookie, so I wouldn't trust him in dime. And plus, he's more of a boundary corner anyways. Stigers played boundary corner all preseason and didn't play it particularly well. So I would say it's Oliver because they're going to trust Oliver to do that. It's not an easy position to play. You rarely come in. Rarely. A lot of games you never in dime anyways. So you rarely play. You got to be ready to go on a moment's notice. And I think they would trust the veteran Isaiah Oliver to do that. But I could be wrong. We'll have to see. Slogo says, some NFL agents are like having Don King as a boxing promoter. Okay. All right. So what about expectations for Justin Fields? What are your expectations for Justin Fields? Put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. And in the meantime, I'm going to look at some of these sounds that they give me. Let's add this. What does this sound like? What about this? That's weird. All right, what else we got here? That's kind of weird, all the sounds that they have. Justin Fields, top half of the league. PC says low expectations. I hope top 20. Yeah. I would think chalk is like 20. He's going to be 20th because he can run. I mean, he's always going to have that value for running, right? So 20 is probably the floor. The 20 is probably the lowest. We got to look at the running too, because he's going to be running wild. And if he's running and making first downs and touchdowns, you got to count that into the mix. So we can't just look at like passer rating, because that doesn't really take into account the running part. Harlan says Justin Fields should have a good season. Well, let's hope so. Fields isn't going to kill with his arm, or he will with his legs. Yep. Fields will most likely be the guy he has been. He thinks is a bridge quarterback. Well, he's gotten better every single year he's been in the league. Can he keep ascending or not? People really don't realize how good he was for the 6 games with the Steelers because it was only 6 games and then he got pulled. Dodes, a bit late. The Dodester. Tony Alexio says, we hope Field improves, but don't count on it with 2-read look and holding the ball too long. Seth Castro, I hope they go for it a lot on 4th and get creative in short yardage plays. Having good tush push will go a long way too. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that are to our advantage this year. One is Fields in that regard, and the other one's Braylon Allen. If you looked in the preseason or, even last year, Braylon Allen's a truck. And with an improved, hopefully, offensive line, including tight end blocking, if you include Woods, a guy like Braylon Allen should be short yardage king, right? And then if it's very small short yardage, just tush push all day with Justin because he can do that. So that's good because it, keeps drives alive, and then you get more plays on offense, obviously. So should be interesting. Just keeping reasonable expectations. Yeah, I want to believe, but 8 touchdowns? How about 3 touchdowns? Why we got to get 1? All we really need is 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals per game. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to get 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals per game? I don't know. Now, what about Willie Mack? Expectations with Willie Mack? How many sacks for Willie Mack? How many sacks for Willie Mack? Put it in the chat. As I play with some of these sounds that they give you. They give you a bunch of sounds. I don't know why they decided on these sounds. This says fountain. Let's see what this is. Willie Mack. Joe Mike says 11. So only half a sack more. Phil Adams says 12. A dozen. Chaos says 15 sacks for double cheeseburger chaos. 15. That's a lot in the modern day. I mean, why is it so hard for these guys to get 1 sack a game? Think about it. If you got 17 sacks in a season, you'd make $40 million. It's 1 sack per game. One time. You're doing the thing we're paying you to do. You did it once per game. Why is it so hard? I don't know. Sun Moon Rise says Nueve. Says he's going down in sacks. PC Salami says 10 sacks for the Big Mac. Sluggo says if JJ is a threat inside, Old McDonald could get 15 sacks. E-I-E-I-O, meaning they'll probably have to double team. Jermaine Johnson, don't you know? Yeah, that helps. And Harrison Phillips helps too. More attention they got to pay to him. He's a big load. I mean, he should help Quinnen as well. But the more threats you have along the line, the better it is for everybody. Put it that way. All right. Speaking of which, how about Jermaine? How many sacks for the JJ man? He's happy today because Florida State won against Alabama. They ranked Alabama 8th in the country, and then Florida State, unranked, came in after a terrible season last year and whooped them. So, Jermaine Johnson and A.Z. Thomas got to be smiling today. Got to be smiling today. JJ Alan Dodds, the record is still 22 and a half. Yeah, right. You would think that there would be somebody like who's just so much better than everybody else. You know what I mean? Like the Babe Ruth of sacks. And the record would be like 30 or 35. And then because he was just so much better than everyone. And then other people, around this much. But the record's 22 and a half. Guys can't even get one sack per game. 12 for JJ. Jeremy says 8 for JJ. That would be an improvement. One thing you notice when in the game against Tennessee last year, the second game when he got hurt, before he got hurt, he was a demon in that game. He was always in the backfield. And it makes you wonder what kind of year he was really going to have. Was it just the Tennessee protection that was really bad, or was he just going to really explode onto the scene and just have an amazing season? We'll never know. But if it were the latter, then we might be selling him a little short. JJ, 7 sacks. What if Will McDonald had 15 and JJ had 10 and Quinnen had 8? It would be the new sack exchange. No clue what to expect from JJ. All right, no expectations, I guess is good. 8 sacks. It'll take a while to knock the rust off and trust the leg, Dode says. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, here's a good point. Here's a good question from Joe Mike. The Jets defense had 43 snacks last year. Over under 43 this year. I would have to say over. Number 1, JJ comes back. Number 2, Spinny McWhinney is stronger. Number 3, we're going to blitz more. So we'll probably give up more big plays. But on the other side, we'll probably have more sacks by people like Quincy, Jamian, even the safeties. They're not going to put up big numbers, but they'll occasionally pitch in a snack. So I would say over, just because of the blitz rate going up, and hopefully we get home with it. Yeah, so Doge is on the same wavelength that I am. I think those blitzes, we'll get burned by them occasionally, and that'll be annoying. But at the same time, hopefully we get home enough. So that's going to be something to watch for the season as well.